Alright, people, gather round, especially my friends from the Philippines, because we're about to unpack something très intéressant, as the French would say. Now, we all know the South China Sea situation is about as chill as a mosh pit at a heavy metal concert, right? China's out there claiming the whole ocean like it's a giant bowl of wonton soup, and everyone else is like, hold up, that's our broth too. But here's the kicker, France has decided to wade into these choppy waters, and they're backing the Philippines. Yep, you heard that right. France, the land of croissants and romance, is taking a stand in the South China Sea. Okay, let's rewind the clock a bit, shall we? Back in the day, like way back, France had a bit of a colonial run-in with the Philippines. For over 300 years, to be precise. Now, I know what you're thinking. Colonialism, not exactly a glowing endorsement for international friendship, right? And you'd be right. But bear with me, because this history actually plays a crucial role in the present. See, those centuries of shared history, however complicated, created a bond between France and the Philippines. They share cultural influences, religious ties, thanks to the whole Catholicism thing, and even some linguistic quirks. You can still find traces of French and Filipino languages, which is kind of cool when you think about it. It's like finding a hidden baguette crumb in your adobo. Alright folks, let's talk strategy. When it comes to international relations, it's all about interests. And France, despite its reputation for romance and fine dining, knows how to play the game. They might not be the first country you think of when you hear South China Sea, but they've got some serious skin in the game. First off, France has territories in the Pacific. Yep, you heard that right. They've got islands like New Caledonia and French Polynesia, which are practically neighbours with the Philippines. Now imagine you're France, chilling on your island paradise, sipping on some delicious Polynesian cocktails. Suddenly, China's out there claiming the entire ocean as their own backyard. You wouldn't be too thrilled, would you? And it's not just about geography. France is a global player, with a permanent seat on the UN Security Council and a fancy nuclear arsenal. They like to remind everyone they're a big deal, and they do that by projecting power and influence around the world. Supporting the Philippines against China's aggression. That's a pretty good way to flex those geopolitical muscles. Plus, let's not forget about trade. The South China Sea is a major shipping route, and France, like any self-respecting economy, wants to make sure those shipping lanes stay open and free. Alright folks, let's talk money, because in the game of geopolitics, it always comes down to the Benjamins, or should I say, the euros. France, as you might have guessed, isn't just supporting the Philippines out of the goodness of their hearts. There's some serious economic incentive behind their actions. First off, the South China Sea is a gold mine, literally. It's teeming with oil and natural gas reserves. And you know France wants a piece of that action? China trying to claim it all for themselves? That's just bad for business. France wants to make sure that those resources are developed fairly and that everyone gets a slice of the pie. Especially them. Then there's the whole trade thing. The South China Sea is one of the busiest shipping routes in the world, and France, with its global economy, relies on those sea lanes for trade. China trying to control the whole region. That's like putting a toll booth on the information superhighway. France is not about to pay those kinds of tariffs. Alright folks, let's talk diplomacy. Because in this high-stakes game of international chess, France is making some bold moves. Openly siding with the Philippines against China, that's a diplomatic power play, and it comes with both risks and rewards. On the one hand, France is sending a clear message to China. We're not afraid of you. We're not going to stand by while you bully your neighbours. This kind of assertive diplomacy can be effective in deterring aggression and upholding international law. It's like saying, we see what you're doing and we're not impressed. But here's the thing. China doesn't exactly have a reputation for backing down. They're like that friend who always wants to one-up you no matter what. So, France's stance could escalate tensions and lead to a more confrontational relationship with China. Think of it like this. You're at a party and you see someone being a jerk to your friend. You can either ignore it, which is basically condoning the behaviour, or you can call them out, which might lead to a confrontation. It's a risky move, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright folks, let's be real. When it comes to international disputes, sometimes you gotta back up your words with a little bit of firepower. And France, despite its reputation for romance and fine dining, has some serious military muscle. Now don't get me wrong, they're not about to go full Rambo and invade China, but they are strategically positioning themselves in the region and beefing up their military capabilities. Think of it like this. They're showing up to the geopolitical gym, lifting weights and letting everyone know they're not afraid to use them. France has been increasing its naval presence in the South China Sea, conducting joint military exercises with the Philippines and other regional partners. They're sending a clear message. This isn't just talk. We're willing to put our money where our mouth is, or should I say our battleships where our baguettes are. And it's not just about showing off. These exercises serve a practical purpose too. They help improve interoperability between the French and Philippine militaries, so they can work together more effectively if things ever get heated. Alright folks, let's talk about the law, because even in the wild west of the South China Sea, there are rules. And France, being a card-carrying member of the international community, is all about upholding those rules. See, China's been drawing lines on maps, claiming almost the entire South China Sea as their own, based on some historical claims that are about as solid as a baguette left out in the rain. But the international community, including France, is like, hold up, that's not how this works. There's this thing called the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS for short. It's like the rule book for the oceans, and it clearly states that countries have the right to an exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, extending 200 nautical miles from their coast. China's claims? They overlap with the EEZs of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and even Indonesia. It's like inviting your friends over for dinner, and then telling them they can only eat in the coat closet. Not cool, China, not cool. France is a strong supporter of UNCLOS, and has been vocal in criticising China's disregard for international law. They've even sent their navy to conduct freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea, basically sailing through the disputed waters to assert that they're international, not China's backyard. Alright folks, let's talk about the people. Because at the end of the day, international relations isn't just about governments and treaties, it's about the human impact. And in the case of France's support for the Philippines, the public is firmly behind this alliance. In the Philippines, France's stance has been met with overwhelming support. People see it as a powerful friend standing up for them against a much larger and more aggressive neighbour. It's like that feeling of relief when your older sibling steps in to protect you from a bully in the schoolyard. France's support has also strengthened the already strong bond between the two countries. There's a sense of gratitude, a shared history, and a common understanding of the challenges they face. It's like two friends who've been through thick and thin together. They know they can count on each other. In France, there's a growing awareness of the situation in the South China Sea and support for the government's actions. People understand that China's assertiveness threatens not just the Philippines, but also the rules-based international order that France has long championed. It's like seeing a group of kids ganging up on one kid in the park. So there you have it folks, the inside scoop on why France is standing shoulder to shoulder with the Philippines in the South China Sea. It's a story of history, strategy, economics, diplomacy, and a dash of good old-fashioned solidarity. France's actions are a reminder that in a world where might often makes right, it's important to stand up for what's right, even when it's tough. It's about supporting your friends, upholding international law, and saying non to bullies, even if they happen to be a global superpower with a taste for territorial expansion. What do you think about France's stance? Is it a bold move or a necessary one? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, while you're at it, why not subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on more insightful geopolitical breakdowns? Because trust me, things are about to get a whole lot more interesting. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more content like this.